Welcome to the first episode of the Zed Graduate, an insightful podcast where we get to talk to each and every Zambian graduate. I am your host for today, Genesis. Let's get it. Hi, Penelope.
Hi,
How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. I'm so happy to see you. Welcome to Moscow.
Thank you.
So how long have you been here?
Just one day.
What's your most favorite place in Moscow?
I don't think I have a favorite place.
Well, let me show you around.
Okay.
Penelope. So earlier today when we met, right? I didn't get the chance to know who Penelope really is. Can you kindly tell me like where you're from and your full name if you don't mind, your age as well, just for sake of formalities?
Well, my name is Penelope. My middle name is Mulenga. I was born in 1997. I'm from Zambia, Lusaka, born in Dola. Yeah.
Can you please give me a brief description of your academic life? You know, like the inception, like before you came into university, the schools that you've been to, some of the challenges that you faced. You know, like making it through high school.
Baby class?
It doesn't really, for as long as it's the inception, I mean that's the most inception, like from the first, from the time that you learn how to read, how to write, but you can just like cruise through it.
Okay, I think for baby class, I went to, it should be Mickey Mouse baby school, something like this in Dola. Yeah, and then grade 1, I started at Jacaranda Basic School, that's in Lusaka, in the center somehow of Lusaka. Then up to grade 7, I was there. From there, I went to Njase Girls.
Yeah.
Grade 8 and grade 9, I was at Njase Girls. And then grade 10, I went to Hillcrest. Yeah.
You know, I don't feel comfortable calling you Penelope, you know, because right now you're a certified doctor. So whenever I make the mistake, just correct me and then I add the prefix. So you've been a doctor at such a young age, right? Of course, people will assume that you're brilliant, you know. So we, like, just for everybody watching out there, you know, I believe they're interested in knowing if you've always been this brilliant or it had to come with hard work, you know, like through high school. Have you maintained that level, you know, like have you maintained throughout high school, through university?
Oh.
Should I rephrase the question again?
No, I understood your question, yeah. So in school, it was easier, of course. At school, I was an A student, an A pupil. I was always getting good grades. All the way up to grade 12, you know, I got really good grades. But coming to Russia, it wasn't that easy. Yeah, so my first year, I can say my part fac, it was okay. I finished my part fac with like all 5s and they gave me after maths, you know, like, yeah. So I finished my part fac with like really good marks, but going into medical school, the story is different there.
You know, before we get to that, to that story, right, which I believe is the most rocky, you know, for your academic journey. Has it been like natural for you, or maybe you actually put in work to get to understand and just go through schoolwork? Like, does it come with a lot of hard work, or maybe you are naturally brilliant and you just find it easy?
Okay, maybe to some extent it's a bit natural, because I think I would easily grasp things. And I think even in school, I remember there were times when the teacher would explain something and everyone else won't get it, but I'll get it. So the teacher will ask me to explain it to the rest of the pupils, and I would actually go and, you know, be there drawing stuff on the board, and when I explain it, people would be able to understand it better. So I think to some extent, yeah, it's a bit comes natural to some extent, but there's a level where you have to put in the hard work, especially when more is required of you. Yeah, you get to put in more hard work.
Yeah. So how long have you been studying in Russia?
Well, I've been here since 2015.
That's roughly
So
7 years.
7 years, yeah.
Yeah.
7
So
years.
since you now have an idea of how the academic system is here and how it is back in Zambia, because that's where your academic journey began. Like when we compare the two, what do you feel like? What adjustments would be made to the Zambian academic system that would make it like as rich as the academic system is here?
Okay, I only have experience from my university, yeah. So I don't really have a full experience or a full picture of what it is to study in Russia, because I believe it's different for cities,
Each
it's
and every
different for
university.
universities,
I
yeah.
get that.
So I only have the experience from my university, and what they can do in our country. Oh, I honestly, I can't really think of anything. Yeah, I can't think of anything. Looking at how, maybe I would say, like, what one thing that we have here in Russia, people get to have more chances to give an
And
exam.
exposure as well, yeah.
Yeah. So back home, it's like if you don't pass something immediate. Of course, I believe they do give some exams later, like you're able to sit an exam later. But here, it's like immediately you fail an exam, you already know that, okay, I still have 3 more chances. So I'll still prepare and I'll still study. You haven't lost it completely.
Yeah,
you get to
that's
have
like,
more chances. Yeah.
That's,
You have hope.
yeah, that you have hope,
Yeah,
but
you have hope. So
like, yeah.
maybe they can introduce that. I think that's one thing I can mention.
Don't you think it's a bad position to be in? Don't you think it's scary? Like you knowing that I have this much chances remaining. Don't you think it's scary?
No. Okay, I think it depends on the
Person,
perspective,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, I
how
get
you're
that.
looking at it. Because even in the beginning, when we just started studying, most of us didn't like re-giving an exam. We were like, if you
I
don't give
understand
the
that.
first chance, you'll be frustrated and devastated, and it's like as if it's the end.
Yeah.
But as we continued studying, it was like, oh, okay, I didn't give today. It's not a problem. I'll give, next week. So it's like with time, we started looking at it as not like, oh, it's the end of the world, but
Yeah.
we started looking at it
Another
as,
chance to
yeah,
work
another
harder.
chance. Yeah, I've been given, I still have 2 more chances. So I think it depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, I understand that. You're far from that, right? Far from that. But from the way you've said it, it varies from like person to person, right? Has it changed you in any way? Like emotionally, maybe mentally. Like, what has it done for you? Like having to study in a foreign language, in a foreign land, which has really, really strict academic rules. Like you said, you get 3 chances to retake an exam. Does it change you emotionally or mentally in any way? How do you like get to deal with the stress and all that?
Well, I think, of course, in the beginning it was hard,
Yeah.
because when you come here, everything is new. You need to learn the language, you don't understand everything, you don't understand what's going on. So in the beginning, of course, it's quite hard, but with time, you need to go through the process of adaptation. You have to adapt to everything, and you learn the language and you understand more, and it becomes easier. So of course in the beginning it's quite hard, and you have to really keep moving, keep working, keep going, and with time it gets easier. So I think mentally, yeah, I think at this point I can say I wouldn't be scared to, if I was given an opportunity to do something like this again.
You
Let's
would
say
take it again.
I would, because I've done it. So it's something that
easier
is
the second
possible.
time. Yeah, I
Yeah,
get
it's
you, I get
possible now, because it's like, okay, I went to another country, I learned a new language, I was able to study and live in
It's
that
like
country.
a bonus. Yeah.
So it's something that I'm no longer scared of. If I had to do it again, I'll do it. Yeah. So I think I'm at that level where I'm more open and ready to take up such an opportunity.
So, far from academics, right? Far from academics now, you as an individual and as a graduate, just I believe you belong to a family. So, of course, you're someone's child, someone's elder sister. I believe you have responsibilities, like where you have to be thinking about your financial aspect of life. How, in as much as you're a medical student, I know you don't usually get the time, but did you at any point feel like it's important for you to have something running on the side, maybe an investment or maybe a savings account?
Well, okay, I've always been big on saving
Big on
from
saving.
childhood. Yeah.
What about business?
Business, yeah. Business, especially after, I can say, in my university years. So about saving, since childhood, I was always the child with money. You know, those
Child
20
with the one with-
kwachas,
the one with the-
those
the
50
one with the
kwachas
bucks,
you're
yeah,
given,
get
yeah,
it, get
those that change you remain with. I always used to keep it. I always had money to the point where people would actually get money from me. You know, I would loan them money.
You know,
Yeah,
that's really interesting. You know, it's not common for medical students to have knowledge. You know, I don't want to sound stereotypical. I don't want it to sound like a stereotype, but because medical students in the medical sphere, they hardly get the chance to involve themselves, engage in other activities. You know,
Yeah.
maybe businesses, or get the chance to work during summers. But for those that are able to, maybe yourself, if at any point you are able to, did you tend to maybe start a business back home or here? Have you tried that at any point in your life?
Well, I've tried a number of investments
Yeah.
because, yeah, apart from saving, I'm quite curious. I want to try things. I'll see something online and I'll be like, oh, okay, will this work? So I'll actually try it out, you
Yeah.
know. So because of that, I've actually found myself in like some investments that were not legit because of that curiosity. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've tried a number of things, and at the moment, I was able to.
Thank you. Yeah, carry on.
Yeah. So at the moment, I was able to start up something back home with someone. Actually, a number of things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really
a number
good.
of things that I was able to invest in, and yeah, they are picking up, running little by little.
Did you start engaging yourself in economic business endeavors at the inception of your portfolio, or maybe it's something that you grew into and something that you at some point realized that I need to have something going on the side? When did the idea come?
So it wasn't from part five.
Yeah.
I can say maybe after third year, fourth year. Yeah, that's when I had this desire to become independent financially, you know, to start
That's really good.
making some business. So
Fend for
somewhere,
yourself,
yeah.
you can cover some
Yeah, so
expenses.
that was, yeah, 20, I can say from 2019, that's when I started like looking around. But for like the investments I made, maybe it was even like last year, no, let me see, 2020, 2021, 2022, this year as well, yeah.
So, as you mentioned earlier, right? You're big on saving, but when we speak of saving, it's just like money is a tool, right? Money is a tool, and you can use it to harvest more money.
Yeah.
So the idea of saving, has it now that you're engaging yourself in different investments, has it changed, or maybe you still save and invest less?
It hasn't changed. I still save.
Still save?
Yeah. So I still save, and like saving still remains. And then what I do is I have a goal. Yeah. I have a goal as to what I want to achieve. So I start by saving first.
Yeah.
I'll save the money. Of course, I have money that I save that I just have to have money. I have this sense of security when I just have money.
Money, yeah,
Yeah,
get
when
that,
I
get
so
that.
yeah, it's like even if I have to invest, I don't want to invest everything that I have. I always have to have money. So on top of the money that I can remain with, the extra money they now can go into investments.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is how it works. So I still save, but then the extra money I try to invest it in different things.
I really like the approach that you have towards saving, right? But personally, for myself, I've never been big on the idea of saving. Of course, I'm going to have money for security and for emergencies, right? But I'm hoping that you give me some game. You know, maybe I can look at it differently. I feel like it's better to put your savings in something, right? In as much as each and every investment is going to be a risk, I feel like it's better to save your money in an investment, you know. Then apart from that, for you now, for you as well, being a medical student and you've spent over 7 years, you know, just going through school and all that, how hard or how easy has it been for you to create a balance between your investments, your finances and also having to go back to school and like dedicate most of your attention towards school. How has it been to create the balance between the two?
I think because when you're studying, one thing that I've actually realized with investing, especially in things back home,
Yeah,
it's always good when you are there.
that's true. That's
Yeah,
very true.
it's always good when you are right there on ground to
Very
see
true.
things, because even if you are to give someone to run something for you, they won't run
Care,
it
yeah, they won't care
the way
about
that
it.
you will
Exactly.
do. You know, you'll be
Exactly.
there like all the time. You're able to sacrifice
See
for
the
the
growth,
thing
yeah.
that, yeah.
Get
But
you.
if you give someone like anything, any inconvenience, they'll be like, oh, sorry, I wasn't there the whole week. You see?
Yeah.
So it's like, one thing is, it's true, you need to be on ground to some extent, unless you really have people that will put in their all to run that business. So being in school, I think I reached a level where I was also looking forward to finishing school, so that I can be home and I can be able to do things on my own. Of course, at the moment I have things that are being run with other people and they are running to some extent, but when it comes to other things that I would like to do personally, I look forward to actually being available, being home to do it,
Take
to
care of
run
your
them
own things.
myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think I remember earlier I asked you this, but I didn't really get you to respond. So, like you being a graduate and someone who will be going back home, I want you to tell us, to give us game, like what do you start from? Like, let's assume you don't have enough money, right? You don't have enough money, you don't have enough savings. What would you do? Like, what do you start from?
Okay, when going home,
Yeah.
well, I think you need to find something to make money.
Give us an
If
idea.
you don't
Give us an
have
idea.
money, you have to make money.
How do you go about it? You wait for employment, or maybe you try to start something from scratch again?
Well, if you don't have savings, it will be hard for you to start something.
Yeah.
Unless you get a loan, you need capital for you
Yeah.
to be able to start running something. So if you don't have savings, it will be hard. So you need to raise capital. How
Yeah.
do you raise capital? Find a job. Anything that you can get on, not necessarily formal
Yeah.
employment, but I believe there's so many opportunities. I believe
Yeah.
there's so much that we can do, even if it may not be a lot, but I don't know. I think there's so many things. Airtel money, you can work in a booth.
I imagine
I don't
a
know, work
graduate
in a
going
shop.
back. Yeah, I get you.
I know
I
it
get
might,
you.
just because you have the degree, you might feel like, I can't do that. But
That's true.
as long as you have a goal, you know what you
Same.
want. It's not your destination. You're just starting there.
Yeah.
And it's okay to start small. It's okay to start from somewhere. So, anything that you can do, work in a shop, work in a grocery store, I don't know, anything that you can do to raise capital. And at least have a goal, have a vision. What are you raising the money for? Look out for something that you can do with that
Yeah.
money. And then, as you raise the capital, then you're able to invest in something and start something.
All right. So right now you are our center of attention, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's take us back. Take us back to when you came here. Like you now have like full financial freedom. Like you get to plan yourself, and on top of that, you come to a foreign land. The commerce is completely different. The economy is different, and now you have full financial freedom. You have to plan for yourself. Did you at any point find yourself in a scenario where you get to live beyond your means? Like you get to overspend, you get overcharged for things. Then before you know it, you're already broke. How do you recover from such?
No, actually.
You haven't. Let's assume you
okay,
did.
let's
assume you
assume.
did. Yeah.
Let's assume I'm living beyond my means.
Live beyond your means, or maybe you just don't understand the full value of money here, like being a new student. We're taking us back, like you're taking us back. You happen to overspend, you live beyond your means, then before you know it, you're broke. How do you recover from that?
How would you recover from that? Well, I think, again, where there's no money,
Yeah.
you need to find money. So I think if you are completely broke, also I'm not into debt. I don't like debt. I don't like the sight of debt.
Yeah.
So
What do you mean by you don't like this?
I don't like the whole idea of borrowing money.
You mean debt?
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. So I wouldn't advise someone to be, always getting money from people, borrowing money from people. Because I always look at it as when you are getting money from people, you are into your minus. It's like you have zero, you don't have money, When you get money from people, you don't now have money. No, you are now
Work
in the
for other people.
negatives.
Yeah,
You
I
are now
get
in
you.
your minus. So I wouldn't advise people to get money. I think if you are in that position, you have to analyze your finances.
Yeah.
Where are the loopholes? Where's the money going? I'm really that practical when it comes to finances.
It's really good.
You
That's the
know?
reason why it's you giving us game today. You know?
Yeah. So because if you live a kind of life where you're living from paycheck to paycheck, as they say, from one BC to the next BC, meaning that you're living beyond your means. For you to be able to save money, you have to live below your means. You have to have extra.
Below.
Yeah, you have to have extra money.
Yeah.
So meaning if you don't have extra money at the end of the day, you are spending everything. You have to check, what can I cut out? What am I spending on actually?
Yeah.
What can I cut out?
That's what you mean by below your means, right?
Below your means. Yes, you have to live below your means so that you can have extra that you can save and extra that you can later invest.
Yeah.
So you definitely need to live below your means. See what you don't need, see those things that they're just maybe for pleasure, but they're not necessities.
True.
You cut them out and save money, and you're able to invest. So I would say live below your means. Analyze what you're spending your money on. Live below your means. And if it turns out that you just can't, everything you're spending on is exactly what you need and you don't have money, then it means that you don't have enough money. So now you need to find a way to make more money. So if you can't live below your means to have more to save and invest, then you need to increase your income. You need to work harder and increase how much money you have so you can have extra to save and invest.
So before we get to like the point that you are at right now, like having to go back home and having to do other things, take us back to, we've already talked about the inception, like when you just come here, you learn, you get used to the economic life here. Now let's talk about, as you study as a student, you have work to do, you have schoolwork and all that. Let's assume you as a student, as you're studying, you happen to encounter economic challenges. You happen to encounter economic challenges. They could be triggered by anything. Maybe you get delayed by the government, if that at all is the case. I don't know that if that at all is the case. You happen to be delayed by the government and you're busy, like in that time, you're busy with school. How do you work around it? Do you enter debt? Do you just, because money is really the backbone of everything, it's like really hard to survive without money. What do you do? Like, you have school going on, you have a lot of things going on, then you happen to get delayed, maybe your payments don't come in. How do you survive in that period? Like, what do you do?
I think that is why I advise saving. And I advise living below your means, because you always have money. You're not necessarily waiting for the next money to come. And so whatever happens, you have money. You have something that can cushion you for that season. So that is why my advice would be, from the word go, for students that will be coming and, new students and all, like from the word go, always save. I believe that the money that we receive is enough. I believe it's enough to cater your needs. I believe it's enough. And I believe you are able to save something. And so I would advise to always save money and live below your means,
I get that.
Because if you want, you can spend all the money. If you want, you can spend all the money. It's very possible. It's yours. So you can do everything to finish the money. But I would advise to live below your means, save money so that if the government delays or something happens and you have an emergency, you have money that you can use. It's always good. So that would be my advice. I don't know.
All right. So just to give us a little bit of insight, a little bit of insight. Let's focus on the advantages of having money and having savings and investments. Let's now talk about the disadvantages from your own experience, experiences and things that you've gotten to witness, maybe from different students or stories that you've heard. What are some of the disadvantages, like the scary disadvantages that you think of when it comes to not having money here, or you happen to be broke,
When you're broke, what are the advantages of
disadvantages? Let's not talk about the advantages right now. Let's focus here.
Disadvantages of being broke.
From what you've heard and your experiences.
Well, I think so far from what I've seen, because I don't really have experience. It's just sad when you actually see people in that state where they don't have anything to eat.
They don't get to study properly.
Like you can't even, I don't know, focus.
True.
You don't
That's
have
true.
food.
That's true.
You're always looking, and yeah, like you start texting other students to lend you money.
It's a bad place to be.
And it's really a bad place, because now imagine when you receive your next payment, you won't have the full amount anymore.
Channel it directly to the people.
Because you have to pay back all those people. So it's like you're already living in your next payment.
Yeah, that's true.
The moment your next payment comes, you only have maybe 50% of it that will remain, as yours. So yeah, it's not a good thing.
It's really impressive, We're lucky. We're so lucky that we got the chance to get our insight from you. Like, you've given us real game today. Like, we have a little bit of knowledge on what can be done to avoid debt. Like, to avoid being broke, and also you've tried as much as you can to explain to us how you can live below your means, how you can have something going on the side as you study. Yeah, so thank you very much. It was nice having you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So this has been the first episode of the Zed Graduate Podcast. To all our viewers, thank you very much for tuning in. You can find us on all media platforms at the Tribe Club. To our sponsors, Zambians in Russia, Zambians in Algeria, China, and many other countries, thank you for the endless support. Until we meet again.